Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie B. Once again, thank you guys for joining us live here on BossRushGames.com on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, wherever you guys are watching this. Joining me is the Taco Takedown Titan himself, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going?
Taco Takedown Titan. That's new.
Yes, me and Jesse had a talk yesterday about Taco Bell, and I had to recover this morning.
Yeah.
We went over to my... Oh, I was just going to say, speaking of Taco Bell, I went over to my mom's this morning, and she gave me $30 in Taco Bell gift cards. That's $30 quesadilla wraps. Just saying.
Can you eat that much without being gassy?
Dude, I can't eat two without being gassy. Okay.
That's six $5 what is it?
The $5 boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they got the chalupa ones going. I just seen the trailer, so after the show, I'm definitely going to get one before I go to work. So I'll be blown up the spot. But also joining me is the chocolate chip charmer himself, Mr. Corey DIRRIG.
What? Chocolate chip charmer. Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Yes. You put happy chocolate chip day, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get some at work today. We had some triple hoys. I was gonna say the triple hoy charmer, but I was just like, nah, I like chocolate chip better. How you guys doing? We are still in quarantine in a sense, but like I was telling Jesse and Corey, I'm like, we are in pre-E3 mode because it's just almost like E3. Microsoft starts it off with inside Xbox, and the hits just keep coming. But how you guys doing?
Doing
pretty good.
Yeah, doing good. Excited for that Unreal tech demo that they showed running on PlayStation 5, which means it's gonna be just as good or maybe even a tad better on the Xbox Series X. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, Switch games getting announced and rumored and revealed and all that kind of stuff left and right. So, I'm pretty excited. Also pre-ordered Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition yesterday, so pretty excited about that as well.
Yes. So Jesse, what popped up on Arsenal X this week?
We just mostly talked about like all the games and things that were that they kind of have been talking about or talked about, and the things that they announced and stuff like that, basically.
Yes,
if I remember correctly. That's pretty much all we talked about.
And
then
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I wanted to touch on just really quick talk about what you were referencing when you introduced me. Okay, so after work, it was like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like 1 o'clock in the morning. I just stopped and I grabbed something from T-Bell, and this dude is in a big truck. Okay, and my the Taco Bell by our house has like the worst drive-through. It's like super hard, even just for a little like SUV to maneuver going, turning around. It's just really, really tight turns, and there's not much room. And so this dude is in his big honking truck pulling a boat on a trailer behind it, and he's going through the drive-through. And I had to sit there for 15 minutes waiting for him to try to keep on backing up and readjusting, backing up, readjusting, trying to get this stupid boat through the drive-through. It was just, I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, oh man. I don't know, some people. He must have really needed Taco Bell bad. That's all I can say.
Yes. And also, you guys showed a little bit more of what's on Game Pass. And yes, Jesse, what's on Game Pass this week?
Everything.
You and Corey and guessing and me being the special guest play Streets of Rage 4, so you guys can check out that discussion. These guys, they had so much fun. It was just good to nerd out with them about the Streets of Rage franchise. Corey, something jumped off on Nintendo Power Block this week. What happened? What I heard.
I want to know what's happening to the beginning of this episode. It's like really. Well, we talked about the Paper Mario reveal that happened on Thursday. We're getting 2 big first-party games. They were revealed. Well, Paper Mario was revealed, and Ghost of Tsushima was deep dived on Thursday, and now they're coming out on the same day, also in July. So we talked about Paper Mario and Metroid and Pikmin, because of the Pikmin 3 Deluxe rumors are floating around out there, and then also, of course, after the long end cap to that trailer, there is a tiny 10-second teaser where Mario was running around in a Samus helmet. So everybody's speculating that Metroid's coming very soon, and we did talk about that though, and how Metroid seems to pop up in these Mario RPGs quite a bit, like Metroid references and Samus and stuff, because the producer of Paper Mario is also the producer of Metroid Prime. So there's, take it with a grain of salt if Metroid's coming or not, but a Metroid game, whether it's a 2D or the Prime trilogy or whatever. But we also talked about how Metroid Prime 4 seems to be shaping up to be a different type of Metroid game, because they are hiring some of the best visual effects artists in the industry right now at Retro, including
it's wackiness,
including visual artists from Respawn, DICE, 343, Crystal Dynamics. Like they have such a huge visual effects team now that it's just kind of like there's going to be some. If this game doesn't have an explosion out of the box, I'm gonna be sad, because the visual effects team is gonna. We actually talked about how if they reintroduce Mother Brain into the Metroid series through Metroid Prime, how it might be influenced by the Prometheans from Halo 4 and 5, which were in turn influenced by Metroid Prime. So
I'm not ready for that, but I am.
It's gonna be. It was a good talk. I think we're gonna talk a little bit more about it at some point. And we talked about the relaunch of Expansion Pack and everything. So
yes,
which we might actually talk about a little bit later on this show too. But
yes, and there was a winner for episode 195 for our Nintendo Power Block contest, but we are on the road to 200. And just in case if you guys didn't know, you have a chance to win a turquoise Nintendo Switch Lite, a 256 SD card, mini SD card, and two $50 gift cards. Wow, that is a lot. But you got to go check out the latest episode of Nintendo Power Block to find out on how a chance to enter, because there's many things that you got to do to get it. But don't fret. It's really easy once you guys find out what you need to do. And I cannot wait for that episode. It's going to be so good. But we're going to get into some housekeeping because, like I said, we have a show to get into. You can follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Podcast and on Facebook and Instagram at Boss Rush Podcast. Join our Discord, Xbox console community, and our Destiny clan. Also, live shows have returned. when we're able to record them. You can join us live on Mixer and Twitch at Boss Rush Games Live, all one word, to chat with us live on air. You can also find all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Arsenal X, you can, for everybody who if in case you missed it, is our Xbox podcast, which you could join us on Sunday nights for our for the pre-show, the live podcast recording, and some multiplayer Xbox fun on Mixer and Twitch. Also, remember to check out our family of shows, podcasts, and videos on youtube.com/BossRushGames, podcast services, and of course, BossRushGames.com. Now, we are in pre-production for some upcoming shows like Indie Masterclass. Corey talked about Expansion Pack coming back. We've been talking about Crossroad, where that would be our PlayStation podcast. And also check out this week's 1v1, where we talk to Brody Flux, correct?
Yep.
From Diggity Podcast and Super Sandwich Podcast and other things. So do check out that episode. We had a great discussion. And if you want to be on 1v1, email us at bossrushgames@gmail.com. Correct, Corey?
Mm-hmm. No,
yes.
Boss Rush Games Pro at Gmail.
Oh, bossrushgamespro@gmail.com. We would love to talk to you guys about you creating your content and just really nerding out and having a good discussion. We got some really good 1v1s coming up. Jesse has got some guests lined up, and I don't know how to handle myself. I'm excited. And I cannot wait for you guys to check out that episode. It's coming in the future, and all I can say is you're going to be nodding your head to some good vibes in that discussion. So that's all I can say. So we're going to get into these news bits because, like Corey mentioned, Unreal Engine 5 running on PlayStation 5, and then it's going to be on current gen and next gen and mobile apps in mid-2021. They talked about you can start making your game on Unreal Engine 4 and then easily move it to Unreal Engine 5. They showed all some of the lighting effects, and they actually made a demo game that's playable, but it's not going to be a full game or anything. And wow, as impressive that it is, you know, they were talking about all these multiple triangles making it, and you'll be able to use movie assets to like fill in different parts of the game. It really looks good. Me and Jesse was talking about games that we could see in the future on it. Jesse, which game did you? I know you mentioned something. Which game did you mention? I know I mentioned Fallen Order 2, but you mentioned something else.
That it was like.
Yeah. Oh, you said the next Tomb Raider. That was it.
Yeah. That's what. Like, because you know the whole cave stuff. It kind of is. I just envisioned, like a Tomb Raider game. You know, like. But the thing is like, you know, like during while we were watching it, I was getting excited, but then I, like was looking into, like stuff and a lot of people have been saying, hey, like go back and watch all the other Unreal Engine things, and you might want to just kind of contain your excitement because the chances of something looking that great, anytime soon is, very, very slim. But yeah, it's, so I didn't quite understand. Like there was some things about like just looking into it deeper because I had watched the Digital Foundry thing about it. Like where they kind of broke stuff down quite a bit. And so like they talked about 8K textures and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
In the that they were using for the caves and all that. But the actual game was only running in 1440p resolution at 30 frames per second. So it's like, well, yeah, so they're using 8K textures, but it's not going to be showing up as 8K. It's going to be, only whatever resolution it's running at.
Yeah.
So I was kind of confused, like why, like what, if that was just on their part, just them trying to oversell it or what. I don't know. It just, there's a lot of weirdness, like once things started getting broken down about it, that that were just kind of, like I don't know what to think about it. I'm like just left confused as to what the messaging was supposed to be on all of it. But whatever, like as far as all that stuff goes, I guess at this point, who cares? Like once we see it in games, and actually being utilized to make games, then we can, then I'll start looking more forward to that. But
yeah, I mean, I think showing, I mean, you said it was running in 1440p, which is what I mean, I don't think they need to show things running in 8K because, I mean,
yeah.
90% of the people watching this video are probably watching it on their phones anyway, right? In a subway or in their homes or whatever. They're not watching it on a nice big 4K TV, right? So,
yeah.
As if you're making 8K textures and you're telling people that this is what this engine is capable of, it's future proofing the engine for the next 10 or so years, because there are some studios who are still using Unreal Engine 3 for their games, right?
Yes.
I mean, most are using 4. Ed and I talked yesterday about PAL Block how some Nintendo studios are using Unreal 4 for Kirby and Yoshi's Crafted World, and Square Enix was using it for Dragon Quest stuff, and I think Final Fantasy Remake is running on it as well. So I mean, Unreal's a pretty versatile engine. Obviously, we talked about a little bit the benefits of Xbox, because all their studios except for 343 and the racing studios, Turn 10 and Playground, are using Unreal. So Coalition, obviously Gears was built by Epic originally, so they're super familiar with it. Phil Spencer said Ninja Theory was using Unreal for the next Hellblade project, which pretty good guess that game is probably going to move to Unreal 5 and be a 2021 game, I'm sure.
And I like how when me and Jesse was talking about that, because Jesse mentioned that Unreal Hellblade 2 is going to be on Unreal 5. It kind of feels like that would be a great game to show on Series X before the official system comes out, and really show how that game looking on using Unreal 5 on Series X really showcases what that engine can do, and how that game running on Series X could really sell the system. Because like we all could agree, Hellblade just in general, the first one, is phenomenal. It's like, we know Ninja Theory know their graphics, but when it comes to like graphics and doing art, they're really good at it. So to see Hellblade 2 definitely be used as the example to, if they ever show Unreal Engine 5 with Hellblade, that would be the system seller in a sense. Not saying Halo Infinite wouldn't be, but like really show that this is the engine running on this actual hardware, and this is what this game is doing with using Unreal Engine 5. I would be like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's where I'm confused though, because Xbox announced all the games that will be available on once the Series X, like on release day, and Hellblade 2 is one of them.
I think they kind of rolled that back a little bit, because they did say that they were aiming for 2020, but since this pandemic stuff started, and Phil Spencer came out and said they kind of want to not release all their first party stuff at once. They want to kind of have a cadence similar to what the Switch had in 2017, where every 4 to 6 weeks they have some sort of first party project, big or small, kind of rolling out. So I mean, I could see Hellblade moving so Ninja Theory can have more time to work, because the whole the whole theme of that game is getting that, super realistic facial capture, right? That was their whole kind of push for the first game. And if you can't get Molina in the studio to do that, like, why, why, what, what I mean? Like, so I think Hellblade's probably going to be more of a 2021 game. Plus, if they want to utilize what, the Unreal Engine can do, and, try to get that tech under control and see what they can do, because Ed and I were talking about what they could possibly do for Gears with Unreal 5, Gear 6, which I'm sure will be running on that tech. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think Hellblade, on as much as I love that first game, if you're releasing it alongside Halo and Forza and Assassin's Creed and whatever else third party stuff, I think Hellblade would get lost. And so I think pushing it out and try to utilize this technology to make a statement with, I feel like Hellblade is a statement game for a new technology, because that game was all about technology in the first place.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still excited to see. I want to play the game that was in that in the video. I want to play that game.
I think it would be nice if they dropped it when Series X and PlayStation 5 comes. If they just be like, here's a demo to get a real idea. We're not selling it or we're not continuing, but just like really get your hands on through it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still think I know Epic said that they are going to try to get back into like quote unquote real game development. Because they have all that Fortnite money now, they're and the Epic Store is doing well enough. So I think Epic is going to start making different games again, and Fortnite will just be the thing that funds it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for whatever they have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing is, for them to have, now a brand new engine and to not like actually utilize it and make like a really good game that, that actually shows off a couple of the things that it can do would be kind of a shame.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. So we'll see, but I'm excited. Either way, I think Unreal looks great, and I hope teams that, one thing we didn't really mention was, Ed and I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but the technology that they're pushing with particle effects and being able to render stuff without having hundreds of people work on it, this could really help indie teams make bigger games. They could really help them expand their ideas to make bigger projects instead of just smaller, shorter projects. I think the way that things are rendered and the things that they were showing and talking about, and the way that particle effects can be used as part of an animation instead of just generic physics-based things is a really interesting way to create. They showed the bats flying around in the cave. Those were all particle effects. Those weren't designed things on a scripted path, right? Those were just particle effects designed to fly like bats, which was super interesting. So I'm more interested to see what they do on like indie teams do with this technology, because most first party stuff, like most, especially like PlayStation, right? PlayStation had a lot of their studios have their own in-house engines because they need the engines to do specific things for what they're working on. We talked about the Decima engine, which runs Horizon. We talked about the what's it called, the Motion engine, I think is what God of War runs on. We talked a little bit about that. Naughty Dog has a very specific engine for The Last of Us and Uncharted. So very few Sony first-party games run on a third-party engine. I think Days Gone is really the only notable one that runs on something other than a proprietary engine. So, so I mean, Microsoft, I think out of the first parties is going to be the most receptive of this, because a lot of their studios do use it, especially for something like Fable or Hellblade, like we talked about, in Gears specifically. So
yeah, It definitely will be interesting. Like as if this next generation wasn't interesting enough. Now we've got a new engine to look forward to as well. Like it's definitely shaping up to be a very, very interesting beginning of a new generation. So
yeah, and something we didn't talk about yesterday, Ed. It is scalable and confirmed to be Switch inclusive, so we'll be seeing Unreal 5 engine games running on Switch too. Not that it'll look as great as the demo did yesterday, but it is capable of being ported down to Switch. So they came out and talked about it, because a lot of people were talking about, oh, it's running on PlayStation 5. How's it going to run on Xbox Series X or whatever? And there was an interview with Sweeney about how it's going to run on Xbox Series X. It's going to run very similar to the way it ran on PlayStation 5, because they're using similar hard drives, right? And the SSDs, and he was talking about like those games are going to look fantastic, but it's also very scalable. And he was talking about how easily it can be scaled down to like mobile games and Switch, and he talked about Switch specifically also. So that was nice to hear.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. They were showing it off for Sony, and so they had to, like focus on just Sony and make it seem like like inflated a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna. Go ahead, Jesse.
Nothing. Never mind. I'm good.
Well, we're gonna move on because this state of play that happened Thursday was just done right with Ghost of Tsushima. They showed off what you'll actually be doing in the game, how you could use wind and let that direct you to secret places or progress through the story. It's very open world. They have different kind of filters and modes that you'll be able to do. You can attack different camps in different ways, customize your costumes and everything. And I think what was most impressive was that people came away with it sold. That they want to get this game, or because people actually started pre-purchasing the game, like downloading and stuff. But a lot of people, like for me personally, I'm just like, this is how a state of play should be done. You do a little bit of a deep dive, but you show us some gameplay. You really walk us through it. And Nintendo Directs have been doing this, like the Pokemon Direct or the Fire Emblem Direct, like how they'll take a game and they'll break it down piece by pieces. And even in some Nintendo Directs that they're showing like quick hits, and then like how they broke down Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for a bit. It is good to have this kind of information that, yes, you can show quick bits and trailers, but break stuff down a little bit. Show us some of the game of what we're really going to get. And for those 18 minutes, I was focused on what Sucker Punch has to offer. They have to offer a lot, and we don't talk as much about Sucker Punch as we talk about Naughty Dog or some of the other PlayStation Studios now, because that's their name now. PlayStation Studio places. In a conversation when it comes to their games, like well-known games and franchises. So, what did you guys think? I know, Jesse, you don't have PlayStation, but like overall, did you think this state of play did what it was supposed to do, like getting the message out about this game?
Yeah, I think they did a good job of showing aspects of the game and kind of just breaking things down a little bit for people. Yeah, I mean, I thought they did a good job with it. It unfortunately, like there's parts of the game there's things that the game doesn't have that I personally wish that it had, but I mean, like as far as my opinions and my likes aside, like it looks like an awesome game. I mean, there is a lot of things about it that I found really cool and interesting. Like I do like the whole like kind of using the wind thing, and and like those kind of mechanics, and like it has some really cool sounding things. I personally, I just kind of wish that they had like big monster things and all that you could fight. That's why I loved Sekiro so much. Even though I'm just haven't really got into many of From Software's games, like that one appealed to me because I do like the samurai stuff and I do like a lot of that, but I tend to like the more over the top stuff. Like I like like more of the like I did like the Ninja Gaiden games and stuff like that where it's a little bit more fast paced and like the ninja type games. And like I said, I loved Sekiro. Yeah, like cuz like when I was watching the game, like I was just picturing like like because it really does have a Zelda kind of vibe to it. Like with the whole like kind of exploration and stuff like that. But it's like but like it just is missing, like in my opinion, like the big thing creatures or like just things throughout the world that were like kind of had character and stuff like that
and from the look of it, it looked like they was trying to do a samurai movie back from the 50s and 60s in Japan. So you didn't really have big monsters and all of that. But I understand where you come from. Like,
I think I think as far as doing it like that style of samurai game, like they basically hit the nail on the head. Like it is, if that's what you're looking for, like this is probably the best game to do that, by far. Like I said, in no way am I like discrediting this game or like it's not exactly 100% for me, but I still might, like once I get a PS5, like once we see a little bit more of it, and I told you this like when we talked before, that I mean it's very possible that I will like get this and play it and try it. I'm guessing it's going to be backwards compatible, so with the PS5. So I could definitely see me giving it a try. Because like I said, I do like this stuff. It's not like obviously I'm not going to get everything that I'd want in it, but I also think that what they're doing is really really unique and with the mixture of kind of everything that they've like all the like I said, the wind and the like having the battles and stuff. Like I mean that's really where I think the game's gonna shine is the combat stuff.
Yeah, so, dude, in that photo mode, just get prepared for Instagram, Facebook, your socials, whatever. We're not really much Facebook and Twitter and stuff, because like there's going to be a lot of photos from this game. But Corey, what are your thoughts?
I mean, we again just kind of rehashing what I said yesterday. I think this is the way you do a state of play. I think we're going to look back and remember, like, once everybody kind of transfers to this digital format, which it seems a lot of people are doing, I think you're going to look back at this and I mean, depending on what the next one's like, we don't really know yet for sure, right? But if Sony keeps on this path, we're going to look at Ghost of Tsushima's state of play and say, and this is where Sony turned a corner with their digital events and said, we know what we're doing now. It's kind of like what we talked about with Nintendo Directs, where if Sony like really keeps this up, they could have a broader state of play where they kind of make some announcements, show off games that are already announced like that, based off traditional Nintendo Directs. But then you have how Nintendo has the game specific directs, like, okay, here's the Super Smash Brothers Direct, here's the Animal Crossing Direct, here's the Pokemon Direct. Like you're gonna get those types of state of plays where like, okay, this is the Ghost of Tsushima Direct. This is the Last of Us Part 2 Direct. This is the Uncharted 5 Direct, or whatever, whatever comes next for them.
Yeah.
So I think it was awesome. We don't talk a lot about PlayStation on this show, mostly because we are Xbox and Nintendo people. But like, you have to give Sony credit when they deserve it. I know that sounds bad, but I think the state of play. I did watch it after our show last night, Ed, and it was really I fell asleep to it. But what I did watch, I could see why people were really excited about this one and were saying, okay, yes, Sony knows what they're doing. This is what they should be doing moving forward, and it was really impressive.
Yeah, there was just something about this coming away positive. You could try and be mad all you want to, but just watching it, I was just like, this is something that you just really can't be mad about. Like, you got to be excited, even if it's not for you. You got to say to yourself, that was well done.
Well, for me,
why would anyone be mad about that? Like, I think,
I mean, for me,
I don't get why people would be mad.
I went from having like little to no interest in this game to it being like, okay, I'll probably get it when it comes out, because I think it's it. I mean, not that I wasn't gonna play it because it's Sucker Punch and I like their stuff, right? But it just never really interested me. I think it's because I didn't know much about it, and I was just like, okay, well, I'll wait till people have reviews on it, I guess.
Right. I when they showed the first trailer, me and Jesse was discussing this. I know everybody. I say that me and Jesse or me and Corey or all three of us talking. We're a crew. That's how we communicate. I was told Jesse, I was just like, when they showed the first trailer of this, I already wanted this. I'm like, what is this game? Why is it up my alley? Because I love Japanese, I love samurai, I love all of that. I'm like, I need this. And then when I found out it was Sucker Punch's next game, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be something, and I just need more. I was let down from the last trailer they showed because it was just like, I don't understand what's going on, but I know what they're trying to go for. And then watching this one to be like, okay, yes, now I get it. Now I know. And we still don't have a full understanding of what the story is just yet. But I think I love that mystery. I was telling somebody on Twitter after I watched everything, I was just like, no disrespect to The Last of Us, but I didn't watch their last trailer because I want to go full fresh in. I had to watch Ghost of Tsushima trailer. Like, I had to watch the state of play. Not because of the show. It's because this is one of my most anticipated games for PlayStation for this generation. And I want to know much as I can. Where I feel like The Last of Us 2, I could go in that game blindly and be more surprised because my expectations... I set no expectations for The Last of Us 2. That might sound crazy, but I'm like, I want to go in and just be like, wow, the delays paid off. This is very creative. This is literally why this game is now should be in the nomination for Game of the Year. Like, I want to go in and not deep dive, but really dig into and be like, this is why this game was created and what the vision that they did. It took long to get to, but it really paid off. Sometimes there are games that you really want them to really pay off because you don't want to go in hyped, know everything, play it, and then be let down.
And I think part of the Ghost, I think that's kind of what they may be trying to do with Ghost of Tsushima as well. Like, I think maybe that's why they didn't really show us too much of the world. Yeah. Like, I think at one point, didn't they pan out and kind of show where he was looking in the horizon? Yes. And you could kind of see all the different kind of areas. Yeah. So I think that's what's gonna be. I'm hoping that what this game is gonna be. One of the unique parts of it is the exploration, very similar
Yes.
to Breath of the Wild, where there's going to be all different kinds of things to experience in the different sectors of this, massive open world.
Yeah.
Like I'm that's what I'm really hoping, because like if it's anything like Breath of the Wild, where there's like lots to explore and just kind of find, throughout these worlds, then I definitely will be giving it a try.
Yeah.
Because I want that. I want more of that. And to, like Breath of the Wild 2, whenever that's coming out, will give me more of that. But in the meantime, I wouldn't mind this giving me that kind of stuff until we get that game. So.
And Jesse, when we talked about Modern Warfare, and then we're going to move on to the next story because I'm so excited about the next story. When we talked about Modern Warfare, when they were showing it off and they was talking about the story, it was a game that I didn't expect the story to be that. It to be like, okay, now I need Modern Warfare 2, because the story and the production of that game is so spot on. Like me and you, we just bounced back talking about it. And it was just like, how is a game that these people from Infinity Ward, they come back together and they make this reboot in a sense, and they make this this story. It was the gameplay, yes, the gameplay is the gameplay, but the story sells that game so well.
Oh, the new Modern Warfare,
yeah.
You mean? Yeah, the reboot. That was like, seriously, if you have not played the story for the reboot of Modern Warfare, it is so worth the game.
It's well
so worth
deserved.
it.
Well deserved. Yeah. But that leads it to, and I got to give myself a break. Nintendo announces, and I'm so excited. They announced Mario Party, not Mario Party. Goodness.
Wow.
Paper Mario, the Origami King, coming out July 17th, and it starts out creepy with this origami version of Princess Peach. You're just like, will you follow my command? It doesn't matter if you say right, yes or no. Goodbye. And it just gets crazy, yet cuckoo crazy from there. And I yelled. I was gleefully so happy. Like, this kind of was my game of the week in a sense, because I know there's 2 other games on that we're gonna touch down also in news, but I seen this, I cracked up, I came around so happy. I like the new battle system that they're doing. When they said it coming on July 17th, Ghost of Tsushima didn't even come to my mind, and then I was just like, when people started posting the picture, be like, it's one of those days again where 2 high-profile games are coming out, and I was just like, yes, because Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal did this. Of course, I'm gonna have to buy Ghost of Tsushima and Paper Mario on the same day. Like, that's a given. Thoughts about the trailer, Corey?
It was good. I think it's a return to form for Paper Mario. I mean, I've really only played the original Paper Mario, so I mean, I'm more of a Mario and Luigi kind of guy when it comes to the Mario RPG stuff, right? I think I think the writing is really good in the Mario and Luigi games, but I think that this does some really interesting things, because when you, like, the original pitch for Paper Mario was like, okay, these are 2D objects moving around in a 3D world, but everything is, 2D, kind of like paper or, paper craft type things. And like, you just kind of looked at the world like, okay, this is just a 2D game, especially like the last few, right? And, Super Paper Mario for Wii did the 2D and 3D thing kind of differently, but it still had that 2D-esque aesthetic to it. And now, like, when you think of paper, you just think of a flat piece of paper and all the characters are paper and everything. You don't think about origami and folding paper and, making environments out of folding paper and cardboard and stuff, right? Like, that's like the Yoshi stuff recently, right? Like the Woolly Worlds and the Crafted Worlds and the Kirby
love
stuff.
That game.
and now you're seeing these 3D modeled characters out of folding paper. What an ingenious idea that they just like. It's something that like, why didn't somebody else think of that first? And like, yeah, people are probably gonna point at Tearaway on Vita or whatever, but like, nobody played that game. Let's be honest. Nobody played Tearaway. Sad because it was actually a pretty unique game, but I don't think anybody really played it. So, but I thought the trailer was great. I thought the ending created some really unique conversations for us yesterday.
Yes,
which actually, has me even more excited because of the. If you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, we did clip out a video of Metroid Retro Studios is hiring a monster visual effects team for Metroid Prime 4, which you talked a little bit about at the top of the show. But it's Ed and I had almost a half-hour conversation on what Metroid could be based on this visual, based on this one, aspect of a Paper Mario trailer. We went into a discussion about Metroid Prime 4 visual effects team. So
yes, and before we go on, before I get to you, Jesse, we talked about Pikmin 3, and now I have to bring this up because Corey said something, and it may be almost similar to what you said. And now that I took time to think about it, you both may be right. So Corey, tell Jesse what you said about Pikmin 3 and how Pikmin 4 might relate to that.
I told Ed that like they could do a similar thing to what Paper Mario just did, right? Where, okay, yeah, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is coming to Switch. You show the trailer, you show people playing it either with the Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller, whatever. You just do what you need to do. But after the end splash screen where it says Pikmin 3, it fades to black and you get into a garden and it's just, Captain Olimar or whatever character you're going to throw in there. Get maybe the ending of Pikmin 3 or whatever, but it kind of changes the ending and it pulls out and it's Pikmin 4 and like the flowers like you see in Pikmin 3, like the logo for Pikmin 4. And, they say Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming, in January or whatever. And this fall, expect Pikmin 4 or whatever, similar to what, they were doing with Bayonetta and, Mario Deluxe and whatever with Mario Maker and stuff. So like, you could tease the announcement of a new game by releasing the old game, which I think is really, really smart.
And I know that me and you was talking, Jesse, about like it's only a rumor right now, And you believe that
you think it's only a rumor right now, but there's a lot of people. A lot of people are reporting it as being like someone that whoever has mentioned it has either seen something or knows something enough that it's almost certain that it's a thing. Yeah.
Right. And I think I was just telling you, just like right now, it's a rumor because and I said that I'm like Nintendo wouldn't want to ruin Pikmin 4 because we know that's in development, and it's just like, and I kind of felt like Pikmin 3 would have taken away, and I mentioned this to Corey too, that Pikmin 3 would have took away the surprise of Pikmin 4. But if what Corey said happens, definitely. What you said, what could happen, like if it is confirmed and it comes out and it shows that Pikmin 3 is, because I was just like,
it's just a vehicle for a bigger discussion or a bigger announcement, Yeah,
because for me it was more like it's just seeing it as a rumor. It's kind of more like a placeholder because Nintendo wants to control their message, and I told Corey that I think I said I would have to sit down and go get some food and think about this if this happens because it's just like, don't give me Pikmin 3 yet. I want Pikmin 4. If you give me Pikmin 3, of course I'm going to buy it. Give me the HD ROM. Let me use Joy-Con. Like I'm going to lose my mind and be excited because of course I want the Pikmin amiibo. I want the Pikmin, but like I have to have the box copy of this. I'm not doing digital. Like that's nonsense.
Well, if
they
if they have like some like I don't know that they would for 3, but well, like and I still think that even just like putting Pikmin 4 aside
yes.
as a possible announcement, I still think that there's a very good possibility that like us knowing that most likely 3 is confirmed could be misleading as well. I think that it's very possible that we could even be getting a trilogy, and so the leak of 3 being a thing would be just a small speck of what's actually going on, like I don't know. See that that's the thing is see we're still here talking about things and making trying to figure out what's going on. Even if 3 is confirmed, it doesn't mean it doesn't ruin any of the enjoyment of any of this. So like I just think I don't know I'm excited because like Pikmin and Zelda ultimately are my favorite franchises in Nintendo. So
and to see Pikmin 3 on Switch, even if they just up-res it a little bit, like it looks gorgeous on Wii U.
Yeah,
it looks crazy insane. I'm just like to picture it on Switch, give it a little care, like up-res it. My hope is just like I want it to be real. I don't want to be crushed. They could do what they did with Paper Mario and just like literally announce it like crazy, and I will probably be like I don't, because me and Corey was trying to figure out like where do you release this at? Like is this a fall game like August or September, and then release Pikmin 4 in March for spring? Because Corey said it's a spring game, and thinking about Pikmin and what that game environment wise, how it looks, yes, in March it would fit. It would be the perfect thing to release for 20.
Well, I'll be honest. It depends on when it's announced. Like because honestly, I could see them saying that it's available today. Because I mean that's just because it's a port. Because it's a port. Well, like they could make it could be part of the bigger event, like we talked about, where it is mostly about like announcing Pikmin 4 and and some other things. But I could like see them like literally just to really like nail, get a lot of hype and get like mind share on the internet. Like if they were to just say that it's available today,
do you think that would be a good Nintendo Direct kind of announcement, like a surprise Nintendo Direct is happening on Wednesday, let's say, or Thursday, and then they're showing everything, and before they got to Pikmin 4 or whatever they want to show, bam, they do Pikmin 3. They show trailers and new stuff that's coming, and maybe a new level or whatever, and then they be like available now.
Because like with like there's still a lot of places that are doing the stay at home stuff.
Yes.
And so like yes, there are still ways to get the physical version of these games, but I think that there's a very good possibility if it is just 3 coming out that this would be more digital anyways.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I think the whole like available today thing would be the best way to make a big splash, because so many people right now aren't going out to try to get a physical version of something, just because they would, if they can stay home, they would rather do that, So
let's say eShop Shadow Drop available now, physical later on down in the fall, or when with things come in case of people want to get it. Because like Snipper Clips was like that. Like it was only digital, and then later on down the line they did a physical. Yeah, I could see that happen. Oh goodness, Jesse, why you do this to me? I'm excited now. And so, and yes, if Pikmin 3 is true to be confirmed, Nintendo, do what you do best. Like, give it to me. You already given me Paper Mario. What else can you serve me with? Like, we talked about the Mario 3D games coming. If you just happen to throw in Twilight Princess HD or Wind Waker HD,
I want Wind Waker. Out of all the Zelda games that we've gotten in the past, like I would like to get the updated Wind Waker HD.
Oh,
the
Switch.
Most, because like I just think that the HD version looks so much better than that original one did. And you know, and I've played, you know, I don't get me wrong, I'd love some form of Ocarina of Time, but I've played that game so many times and beat it so many times at this point that I don't need it again. But yeah, I would like Wind Waker for sure.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if we're gonna talk about Zelda, I would love to. I would love to just see I would love to see, you know, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, obviously, but I think you could do an HD version of the 3DS games at some point too, and just up-res them and put them. You know, I think those games were designed to be, you know, I think those games were HD'd and then, you know, res down for the 3DS. You know, I think there's HD assets of those games somewhere.
Yes.
Well, and weren't a lot of those? How many of the handheld games were co-op or multiplayer? Was it just the Four Swords?
It was Four Swords and the Triforce one, where it was like three, where you only could play with 3 people. It was like those 2 side games were the only multiplayer. Everything else has been a single one.
Well, because like, you know, like in my opinion, those kind of games, something like that would be really, really good for the Switch. You know, even if it was just couch co-op. I mean, just because, you know, like their online stuff it needs some work, but like even if they were to do like something like that and have it like where you could be in the same room and, you know, like kind of play together kind of thing on your own Switch.
Which there is a story that I didn't put in, but you can check it out on Nintendo Life, that they talked about. They was talking to the investors and be like, we got a lot of work to do with Nintendo Online because we want to bring more features and stuff like there. It's just going to take a while to do it. So if anybody want to check that, it's on Nintendo Life. But we got to get to our last. Yes, we got to get
news.
We got to get into our last story because 2 members are hyped for one game, and I'm kind of hyped for the other game. Yes, everybody, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Remaster is coming to PS4, Xbox One, PC September 7th, and the Mafia trilogy is also coming out for it. So you'll get a remake of Mafia 1 done in the Mafia 3 style. I think it's going to be the same thing with 2, and you'll get Mafia 3. I believe all the DLC will be on there at that. That's my assumption. But unfortunately, those games aren't coming to Switch at this time.
I mean, to me, I think the biggest thing is Tony Hawk not coming to Switch. I just feel like, you know, like I know there's gonna have some like open run stuff, but the 2-minute runtime is like a perfect handheld thing. You know, like, okay, I've got like 10 minutes to spare. What can I pop in and do a couple rounds? Oh, Tony Hawk, great, awesome. I still think it's coming. Maybe obviously not at launch, but I still think Tony Hawk Remaster is coming. But again, I'll probably get it on Xbox, and then a week later they'll announce it for Switch, just like everything else. But I'm excited to play Mafia also. Like I've played a little bit of 3. I've never played 1 and 2. I do want to play those games. I would like to play them in order just to see if there's like a through storyline, obviously, and I think this is going to be a great way to do that. And those screenshots of Mafia 1 remastered are phenomenal.
Yeah,
like,
they really look good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Hangar 13's really put in the work. They're the ones doing the remasters, right? They're doing all of them, remastering all of them.
Yes.
So, I think that those games are going to be great. I can't wait to play those because it's always a series that I've been interested in, but I've just never gotten into because I've always been playing something else or busy or but the way that 3 was the reception to 3 was really great, and to see where that series started in a new type of way. I think we're getting to that point where people want the things they remembered, but they want to experience them in a new way, right? We've experienced that with Resident Evil 2 and 3 now, and Final Fantasy 7 and Link's Awakening. Like, we've had all these great remakes and remasters, and Ed, what's the one that you like on PlayStation? Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus, yeah.
Getting a really awesome remake for PlayStation 4, and like people love their old games, but it's so difficult to go back to some of those old games sometimes that like you just like Ed, we were talking about that with why Metroid Prime Trilogy isn't out yet yesterday, right? Where Nintendo, like, obviously I think that game should have come out by now, and I think Nintendo wanted to release it by now, but I think Nintendo is taking notes on some of these other remakes and remasters, and they're saying, oh, well, if this doesn't feel right and this isn't perfect, Metroid doesn't sell well enough to sell on name alone. It's got to be great. Like, if we remaster these have to be great. These have to be perfect. They have to feel modern. And, you have to be able to move this camera with the right stick, right? Like, that's such a big thing in Metroid Prime, where it's so hard to go back to because you can't move the camera with the right stick. Everything's controlled by the left stick. And so, and A is shoot instead of the trigger. So, like, I think, or B or something, it's not a shoulder button that shoot is my point. So, like, I think they're looking at how modern first-person games play, and they're trying to adjust that. And I think people are expecting more now out of their remakes and remasters, which is why a lot of people are talking about the Mass Effect remaster now. And I think people are going to look at that and say, so many people love Mass Effect 2 and 3's gameplay, but love the story of 1. And I think a lot of people are hoping that they take the gameplay from 2 and 3 and actually go in and rework and fix Mass Effect 1 to play like 2 and 3, which I don't think is going to happen. But I just have one more thing to say, which is why I think, like, the work that Hangar 13 is putting into Mafia and the work that Activision is putting into Tony Hawk is so important, and the things that they're doing with them are important. Like, people want to experience a great looking Tony Hawk game, right? And the new the remastered Tony Hawk games look fantastic. They got the soundtrack in there that people love. That was like the big thing that they needed to nail, and they nailed the soundtrack. It's up on Spotify right now if you haven't listened to it. It's, dude, it has so many like nostalgic feelings, because
it was the punk pop kind of sound, and ska, I should say.
They nailed it, and I think it's what they did with that is really awesome, and to see Mafia kind of get that, and people realizing that, okay, if we remake this, we need to do it right. And I think Resident Evil did it right from all accounts, and from all accounts, Final Fantasy 7 did it right so far. I love seeing that people are remaking these games to what people remember, but also with a new twist on them.
And
it's a good preserving preservation or whatever of the games, because, like, unfortunately a lot of our younger, like the games, and a lot of games that we've played over the years are just completely lost to time, whether we liked them or not, because they're just, like, I mean, look at TV shows back in the day. They used to they used to record the new shows over old shows, because it was too expensive to, to get new tape or, new film, for every show or whatever. And, there's so many shows that are just like completely gone to time because they never really had any kind of thing set in place to preserve those shows, so like this is a good way to preserve something that existed a long time ago, but make it, something that people who've never played it can come to it and appreciate it. And because a lot of times you try to go back and play those original old games, and they're you sometimes like GoldenEye for N64, you're just like, how did I ever enjoy this game?
Yeah.
Like with how buggy and like how much it like, this or how much it that, but like doing this gets rid of all those things that stick out like a sore thumb as to why it doesn't hold up today, and but still captures all the things that you loved about that game. So it's like I'm, like, how I feel about Resident Evil 4, but I'm actually excited for a remake of that because I'm hoping that it will fix the issues that I have with the original, and make it feel more like the newer stuff, but still getting that story, because I didn't mind the story. It's just I didn't care for the controls of that game.
Which at that time, like I said, it was something new for Capcom to get for them to do. And it was kind of something new for gaming in general. And I think once Gears kind of took that idea and worked on its controls and its gameplay and kind of fleshed it out and reused some things, it became a standard. So seeing taking something that was like made in Japan and make it more American, where it could now be universal worldwide, you kind of understand why, if they do a Resident Evil 4 remake, I have thoughts about that, which is, it's not negative or anything. It would be something to see how they go about that approach. But I will say, I'm excited for these games to come. Tony Hawk is not my jam because I didn't play Tony Hawk 1 and 2. It just didn't do anything for me, but I'm excited. You boss you. But I'm excited that it did get announced. People were happy for it. And I've been happy for its announcement. I think Paper Mario overshadowed it. For me, I enjoyed that Mafia got announced. And there are more games that's coming, like PGA Golf by 2K is coming to Switch. Like, that was exciting to see that announcement. And so that's why I feel like this is kind of like pre-E3. It's that game announcements are dropping, so it's a good time to be like, yeah, we don't have the event, but as more stuff is coming along and being announced and being showcased. And regardless of what we thought about Inside Xbox, they really started it all for us to be hyped about games in the future and this announcements and things to come. So with that, everybody, we're going to quickly get into what we've been playing, and then we're going to let you guys go. I'm going to keep my games to one game per system. I'm sorry, that's me. For Switch, it's Streets of Rage 4. For PS4, it's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Really been enjoying that. And for Xbox One, I've been playing more of Final Fantasy 12. Like I said, I picked that up, and I really been enjoying it. To let Jesse know, I did pick up Journey of the Savage Planet, so that is on my Xbox One, and so I can't wait to start that in the future. Corey, what you been getting down to?
Well, I've been playing Control, obviously, for our book club, and I was gonna play a little bit last night, but we recorded late Pow Block and didn't get to it. But I'm probably 3 hours in now, and just exploring the oldest house and stuff is cool, and I really enjoy the gameplay. The one thing that's extremely frustrating to me is the difficulty spikes, and just how like you can be in one room where one enemy you can take down super easily and doesn't do any damage to you, and then the next enemy is like zipping around a room and like hits you once and you're basically dead, and it just, some of the difficulty spikes has really been frustrating. And I posted it on Twitter, and a friend of the show, Josh Finney, asked me if it was my first Remedy game. I said no, I played Quantum Break most of the way through, and I played Max Payne, and I didn't there were parts that were difficult, but nothing that really felt like this. And I don't know, man, maybe I'm just not being patient enough or whatnot, but like I feel like this game has some difficulty spikes that are unfriendly, I would say, and almost unfair to a point, but other than that, like, I'm really enjoying throwing stuff at people and pushing them away. And I think the shooting actually feels pretty decent. It feels better than the first time I played it, which is odd. I know there was a patch a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago that fixed a lot of some of the issues people were having with stability and stuff, and maybe they threw some better shooting in there with the DLC stuff. But I like Control. I don't know if it would be a Game of the Year contender for me if I played it last year. But that's just based on the first few hours. Maybe it gets amazing, which, don't get me wrong, I think the aesthetic of the game where you're in this plain building that looks really generic and whatever, but then you enter these rooms with like these giant pyramids and these blocks and these this ominous red light, and then the part where, like, probably like an hour into the game, you get to this part where there's like a light switch, and you turn the light switch off, and then you turn around and turn it back on, and you're just in this hotel randomly. And that's like really cool how they change locations on you like that. And so I do like the idea of this game. I'm gonna obviously finish it for book club, but just some things that were really kind of frustrating, and just I don't know. It just felt really, some of the difficulty spikes are kind of frustrating. So, but other than that, I've been playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey still. Just this game might take me the rest of the year to 100%, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get all the achievements. I'm gonna do everything. That's my goal. So just like an hour a day, I just go in and complete an island, complete some quests, and move along. So that's the plan right now, at least. So really, really loving that game. And then what else did I play? Gears Tactics I've been playing through.
Yes.
Loving Gears Tactics. I love Gears Tactics. Game of the year so far for me, I would say. Out of everything I've played. Yeah. So Gears Tactics is really awesome. I'm loving the customization. I'm loving the characters. I just love how much it feels like Gears, and it's really challenging too. But it's cool because like they want you to be tactical, but they also encourage you to be aggressive in smart ways. And so I love Gears Tactics. I don't want to ruin anything because I know it's coming to Xbox soon, and I want you guys to play it and tell me how you guys feel. But it's for sure my game of the year so far, for sure, without a doubt. And it's crazy because the games I've purchased this year, I've been super disappointed in, and this is just available on Game Pass, ready to go. So yes, everybody, that includes Animal Crossing. I'm very disappointed in Animal Crossing. I put 10 hours, 12 hours into Animal Crossing. It's not for me. I just have to say it's not for me. So I do love Gears Tactics though. It's by far game of the year.
I'm still trying to figure out what is my game of the year. I still haven't got one yet.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot still, right? We have Valhalla coming out, which I'm sure will be a contender for me. We have Halo Infinite, which I'm sure will be a contender. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been announced yet. I know a lot of people are looking forward to Cyberpunk and Ghosts and Last of Us and stuff like that. But I gotta tell you, man, I am so pleasantly surprised and just eager to play more Gears Tactics. And I don't like sitting in this chair to play games. I don't know. I'd rather be sitting on my couch, with a controller and everything instead of in this chair. But I think I'm actually going to stream it next week, hopefully. And I'm working out a stream schedule and making some new assets for that. So,
yeah, because the moment if it touch was it touch Xbox, yeah, it's on. Like I'm definitely getting it.
It's so I'm so in love with Gears Tactics for sure. So. But I'll leave it at that. I've been playing more, but I'll just leave it at that for now.
All right, and Jesse, what you been getting down to?
So I've also been playing some more Control, and honestly, like the first time I played that game, it definitely, like Corey is saying, it was like super hard because you have no like reference or concept of like what you should be doing, where you should be putting your upgrade points and all that kind of stuff. So I wasted a lot of points that first playthrough, and I unlocked useless guns that you really didn't need, and I
have heard you really only need the pistol in that game because of the way the powers work.
Yeah, the pistol you want, and you want the one that charges up, the
Pierce.
Yeah, the Pierce. Like those, in my opinion, those are the two most useful guns, because with the Pierce, if you get a good shot, you can clear like if it's a heavier character with a shield, you can clear the shield and most of their life in one shot, and then just throw something at them to finish them off. But like the main thing that I've been doing that I did not do is like my upgrade points. The only thing I'm sticking them in is energy, health, and the throwing ability. Like upgrading the throwing ability so the throwing ability does more damage. That's all you need, like honestly, because that throwing ability to the point where I'm at, like you want to make sure though that you get where you can catch rockets, because Corey, that is where the characters get very, very cheap and difficult. Is if you cannot catch those rockets, though, that is what makes those characters very, very hard to go against. But once you can catch those rockets and you time it right, you can grab their rocket out of the air and throw it back at them. Or even the big guys. There's the one guy that's got a grenade launcher that shoots a whole bunch of grenades. You can just throw those back at him, and like, dude, I'm just like walking through people like compared to the first time I played it. It's just like I still do die occasionally because I timed stuff wrong or whatever, but like I'm having such a better experience of this game the second time through than I did the first time, and like I'm probably almost halfway done with the game already by this point.
Same here.
Because I'm actually going to, I think, to meet the person that this is all kind of about. So I might even be further than that. I don't know.
You haven't met the brother yet, right?
No, I'm about to, I think. So
okay.
But yeah, so yeah, I've been playing that for the book club and enjoying that. And then on Switch, I picked up a little while ago. I picked up Rad on Switch, and so I've been playing that actually quite a bit lately.
Is that good? Is that worth to pick up?
Yeah, I mean, there's some issues, with it running, because I only played it in handheld. I haven't seen what it looks like playing it on the TV, but in handheld, there's there's these like plant things that you destroy, and then it like, or this like green like weird formation type thing that you destroy, and then it like kind of spreads, like plants and flowers and stuff then grow all over the ground nearby where you where you hit it or whatever. And when it does stuff like that, the resolution and picture quality of the game drops immensely to where it like looks like really like pixelated and just really bad. But I mean, it doesn't really affect the gameplay in any way. It just looks bad, for a couple of seconds. So I mean, there you can tell there's a little bit of performance issues. But otherwise, like as far as playing the game, like I don't notice any like drop in frames or anything like that when you're playing. Everything moves pretty smoothly. I think they just down-res the game quite a bit to make it play on there because like I remember seeing the original like trailer for it when it came out, and it just looked like baby smooth, and everything looked just like really vivid and really good picture quality. But it doesn't look as pretty on the Switch, but it plays like perfectly. So like I think it's definitely a great Switch game though. Like, I'm enjoying it because it's a what's it called, rogue like game or whatever. And so you can just go in and try to do your thing, and it's very similar to what's it called, the game that was like really popular and everyone was playing when it came out. My mind's blanking, but
Rogue Legacy?
No, my mind's blanking. What's the one that was like super, that like did really well, that was a roguelike game?
Dead Cells.
Dead Cells, yes, that's the one. It's like Dead Cells, where you go into these like you go into these portals that take you to like kind of a randomly generated world. It's usually they're similar in some way, but it's just placing of things maybe different, but they still kind of have similar looks. And then you can, depending on how you combo your things or whatever, and your mutations and all those kinds of things, that will determine how much easier it is. Like I got this cool one where you I grew like a tail and kind of had like a lizard somewhat body, and out of my tail I could shoot eggs that would crack open and be little spider baby versions of me. Like that could shoot or they could attack or whatever. And so like after you go through the main level part, there's these two usually like a level will consist of these kind of figurehead things that you've got to turn on, and then they twirl up into the air and they shoot these like beams of light towards the next doorway or portal. And so when you activate both of them, then it shoots beams and it opens up the portal to then move on to the next part of that world. And usually then you go against a boss, like these bigger creatures that take a lot more hit points to kill. And so like I was just using my ability with the eggs popping open and just kind of taking out, because there's like two medium-sized guys and then one big guy. And so I was kind of working on those medium-sized guys and then popping the eggs out to let them just kind of keep on, attacking the enemy, because those egg things are just infinite. You can just keep on popping them out. And then just kind of letting them go on suicide missions to just keep on lowering the life of the main character while I work on the other guys. And so like there's a lot of really fun like planning of stuff and trying to figure, come up with a strategy and things like that with this game. So it's definitely been a fun game to just kind of, like I've been like when I'm laying down right before I'm about to go to bed or whatever, I'll just play for a little while, or like when I get up, I'll play for a little bit before I like actually get out of bed and start the day or whatever. So it's I've been enjoying it. I would like to try it, like maybe get it again. I might double dip on it and get it on Xbox just so I can have one that I can play on the go, and then if I want to, play it with the better resolution and stuff, I can play it on my Xbox. But yeah, so that's mostly what I've been playing. Oh, I did fire up Destiny 2. And I played a little bit of that, and I've upgraded. Because like honestly, most of the time I spent in that game was just trying to figure out like what's changed, how do I upgrade things, how do I, there's so much stuff to learn and that relearn now again, because like there's man, that game's just got so much to it that I need to learn how to what kind of things I want to look for. And now there's so many guns in that game. Now I went and I go look at like all the guns that you've picked up and what you haven't. There's so many guns now that I haven't found yet, which is a good thing, because I hope that means that when I get loot drops that I'm actually going to get stuff that I don't already have. But it doesn't always work that way, unfortunately.
Well, everybody, that's going to be the show. I want to thank you guys for joining us here for this live recording. Just a quick little plug for me. I am on the weekly cooldown with Kajimas. You guys can check that out on Anchor FM, Spotify, and Kajimite. Sorry about that. Oh, Kajimace. I'm sorry about that. We talked about.
Try one more time, Ed.
I got to go. But you guys can check that out on Spotify. It's on my Twitter page at that retro code. So if you guys want to listen to that episode, you can. It's only 54 minutes. Really good discussion. But Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS.
And Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey in HD on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find me at Corey in HD on Mixer.
Yes. You guys have a great week. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you guys are making it through this quarantine time. And as always, let's play games and be better to one another. With that, everybody, we'll see you next time on Boss Rush Podcast. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.